Vlog number 18 and for my next trick. Since the beginning of time, and I'm talking about my time here, I have found myself in many awkward, comical, and or difficult situations. At this point, I really can't say if having a taxi makes a big difference in an already accident-prone life, except to point out the enhancing powers of a physically challenging disability. It certainly has made a lot of things harder and impossible, but I have to wonder if some of the things that have happened to me since my diagnosis 11 plus years ago would have occurred regardless of the presence of ataxia. I will share with you some stories from before and after and let you decide. I will start with two stories from before my diagnosis. There are many more, but these stories do the best to sum up how things usually went for me. Both stories happened in 1991 when Melissa and I lived in Virginia. Neither story has been embellished in any way, and even though they are not very flattering by any stretch of the word, they are sadly all true. Melissa and I was going back to school, and I worked as a cook at the college that she was attending. We lived about a half a mile away from the campus, so I would always walk or ride my bike to work. One morning, I got ready for work as usual and began to walk. Right away, it was alarmingly obvious to me that something was very wrong. But what? I didn't know and wasn't quite able to figure it out. That is, until I hobbled along for about 5 minutes and realized that one of my legs had alarmingly become about half an inch shorter than the other, resulting in a severe limp. Had I suddenly developed some kind of awful new condition? Was I now always going to limp? If I was determined and kept going, could I walk it off? But after another 5 minutes, the condition had not improved or corrected itself. I thought, this is getting ridiculous. So I looked closely at both my legs to see if I could determine the root of the problem. That is the moment that I made the discovery that I had put on two very different black work shoes. One had a thick rubber sole that was designed to be slip resistant, and the other shoe was flatter and more lightweight. I wobbled back home, embarrassed to be sure, but also relieved in the knowledge that a solution to my problem was only about 10 minutes away. Not long after the wobble incident, I began getting ready for work and was doing a little reading before I needed to leave. Melissa had already left and the little apartment was quiet. All of a sudden, seemingly out of nowhere, I heard a deep and very soft gurgling or rumbling sound. I put my book down and really listened. Would I be able to hear it again? A few moments went by, and then there it was again. I began a slow and methodical search through the apartment to find the source. I would pause every few moments and would hear the strange but elusive noise again. The problem was that wherever I went, the mysterious sound seemed to be very close, but I just could not pin down its exact location. About that time, I noticed a second anomaly, which seemingly accompanied the soft rumbling. It was a slight vibration, one that I could feel in the pit of my stomach. I put my hand on my side and moments later was able to identify the source. Yes, it was me. I was the source of the elusive gurgling and vibration. My stomach was growling and I had just spent 15 minutes looking for myself. Now I will share two stories from my recent struggles after the diagnosis. As I've shared before, part of my self-prescribed therapy is to go on long walks. The day I mentioned here was a nice sunny and warm summer day. It was early afternoon, and I was about 2 or 3 miles into my walk and had just turned around to head home. I was listening to music and not really paying much attention when suddenly there was a dark shadow spotted out of the corner of my eye just off to my right. I jumped and did what has come to be affectionately known as the Ataxian shuffle. There was, of course, nothing there because I had seen my own shadow. The only logical thing to do now was to look around and see if I'd been spotted. Thankfully, I was walking at that moment in the back of a parking lot, so my embarrassing little dance was not seen, and I think I got a clean getaway. Like a lot of people, I have the need for a number of keys, and the result is a pretty substantial key ring. Well, the other day I was walking across the street to my car, checking the mail, and I dropped my keys when I retrieved them from the pocket of my pants. I bent over to pick them up, but before I could stand up straight, I dropped them again. This time my reflexes responded before my brain did, and I tried to scoop them up before they hit the ground a second time. I was successful, however, I did not close my hand, which is the last but very important step in actually catching something, and managed to instead throw them up into my face and right into my eye. I quickly recovered and looked around for witnesses, as this time I was not in a vacant back parking lot, but right in the middle of the street in front of the town post office. Luckily, the street was deserted and no one had seen me. What about you, my friends? I would love to hear from my readers. Did you become prone to more accidents after your diagnosis? Leave me a comment and let me know. If this does not pertain to you, I would still love to hear from you.